Hello and good afternoon to all the good viewers of this program, especially those who are our subscribers and all of those who are viewing us for the very first time. Ah, you two played this game yesterday. It stopped in our Persian program and started it again in this program, where they take the option of sharing the link. They remove that option. But don't worry, we know a different path. We know how to cut and paste and copy and paste. So we will do that and share it in our Telegram for anybody who wants to view us live. This way they'll get the link and they will be able to follow us. And if the link doesn't work the first time around, we will try it again. Let's see. Now it should do. There we go. And we'll remove the one that didn't work so that there's no confusions. And we will go into the program ourselves. Susan Watch Kiki likes to give us a lot of problems, you see. When you talk the truth, YouTube can't handle it, unfortunately. And they go after people who are like us. Polemics, unapologetics programs. We suffer because we are not part of the agenda. The agenda is wear a little bit of clothing, make sure you're a woman, and shake your behind or show some cleavage, and the ratings will boop, boop, boop. YouTube will bring everybody to you. If you join the LGBTO and promote that kind of stuff, boom, skyrocket. So high you won't even notice. But if you come and you talk and you show the truth about Islam and teach the people so people can know what it is and not fall for it, then YouTube has to play with your subscription numbers. We were at 117, now we're down to 115. It's not because people unsubscribed. No, it's because YouTube changes the numbers. 14,000 people viewed the program. YouTube will say only 65 people saw it. You want to share your link to your own channels? Nope. They removed that option, so you won't do it. You think tomorrow you're going to be monetized? Absolutely not. You'll be blocked. Your programs get taken out. So you see, YouTube and Susan Watch Kiki, who's in charge of YouTube, they love to play games. But if you're a terrorist and you come along and you set up a terrorist program on YouTube and you start telling people about how you want to kill, I mean, it's there in English, in plain English, how they're planning on killing people when they get stronger as Muslims and they're going to kill everybody on the planet. YouTube will continuously not just pay you, they'll promote it, they'll give you option to share it, they'll never block any of your programs, everything's nice and handy and good. That's how they play. Viewers, dear viewers, today we have a very special program for you guys. Yes, we will be talking about Musa al-Kazim, the sadistic serial killer. Part 7 will be continued today. But I also have for you a very special gift because the people on the other side of the planet, today is Christmas time for them. Happy occasion. It's a very happy occasion that even some Muslim countries in the Middle East now are forced by themselves to also practice, because they know if they don't do it, the money that they get currently from Western countries will probably be finito, cut off, because obviously they have to come into the modern world, and without coming into the modern world, they can't be part of the international community of the modern world. And in order to become a part of the modern world, they have to show that they have empathy for other religions. Hence, they've taken this as an excuse to allow Christmas Day. So they've allowed that in places like Saudi Arabia and UAE, and others will fall in suit soon. Therefore, for the people on that side of the planet, and for those who are in countries that still cannot practice it, but are able to watch our program, we have a special gift for you at the very end, a special small video. And I hope that that could be my gift to you in the Middle East. And for those of you who are on this side of the world, and Christmas for you will be tomorrow, we'll consider that my small gift to you in advance. So Merry Christmas to you guys as well. That we will play at the very end of the program, and we will end the program after that. So allow me to share screen with you and get right into the program and teach you from where we left off last week. If you remember, Musa al-Kazim, the little boy, he went like this for the guy because he wanted some special time that adults have normally with each other under the pillows and the blankets and whatnot. He wanted that kind of time with this adult man. He was interested in pedophilia to be done on him, but instead of answering the man's question, he gave him 3 different scenarios of how that question that the man gave him could play out. But he didn't really give an answer. And then the clergy of the Islamic religion of the Shia sect decided to say, based on that, no one can answer what Musa al-Kazim said, which was not really an answer, but his answer was just 3 scenarios. Therefore, Dr. Mossavat took it as a challenge to answer it, because, whenever there is some problem going on where someone is trying to twist your arm and force you to do something that you're not supposed to be doing, a Dr. Mossavat type of person shows up and stops it. For example, when the globalists had an agenda to kill you at the Fauci ouchie, Dr. Mossavat showed up and said, don't do that, and saved a whole bunch of lives. And today, you are seeing that. I mean, it's not that hard to search and see how many people are falling off like flies from the Fauci ouchie. And then there were these guys, the Shia Muslims and the rest of the Muslims, and they tried to fool you, take your kids from you, brainwash some of you, try to make you into more terrorists. Like the one that tried to shoot Hatun and was arrested before he could buy his gun and go to Speaker's Corner with a map and her picture to shoot her down. By the way, where is Hatun? England? Metropolitan Police of London? You have a duty. Your duty is to look for this missing person, irregardless of her not having a home address. The reason why she doesn't have a home address is because you, the police, did not do your due diligence to provide protection for the citizens of your city, her being one of them. And she was on the run from the hands of your Muslim population that openly told you in letters, they wrote you, the police, that they wanted to kill her and have attempted multiple times to do so. And now that she's missing, it's your fault. Metropolitan Police of London, do your work. Open the file and look for this missing person and those Muslims who have killed her. Bring them to justice. And if you don't do that, tomorrow, each and every single one of you will find your heads on a stick, courtesy of fine Muslims of London, England. Because this is just the start before they take more people and kill more people. And eventually you, the police, will be the ones killed by their hands. So before it happens to you, learn from people like us who've come from countries where it's happened to a lot of our people. And it happened to our guards, our police, our military too. When the regime changed, when the Islamic Republic came in power, they did that. It's documented by your own newspapers. And they will do the same in your cities. So open up the missing persons and find Hatun. Dead or alive, you find her. And now, back to where we were. We left off at this verse. Surah al-Qasas. 28 is the chapter, 56 is the verse. To make it easy for you in the English language, we don't need to say the names. Most of you can't even pronounce Arabic names anyway. When you do, you butcher it. So for you, I'll make it easy. We'll just give you the chapter and the verse. It's easy that way. Okay? Chapter 28, verse 56. What does it say? By the way, the links are always at the top. If anybody wants, what I always suggest is, you see, in this channel, I make sure that life is easy for you, the viewer. In other channels, it's hard to find where the link is, and everyone's asking for links and well, where is the source? How do we find it? In ours, it's up on the screen the whole entire time. All you got to do is use your phone, okay? Grab your phone, go to your camera, okay? Go to the camera. Let me see if I can do it for you. You see, here's the camera. Huh? Go to the camera and point at it. Take a picture of that link. Okay. Once you've taken a picture of the link, the next step for you is later on, when you have time, blow up that picture. Once you've blown it up and you can see everything, write it down on a piece of paper. And then quickly take that piece of paper, go to your computer, and go to the address bar. Type exactly what you wrote down on that piece of paper into the address bar. If you don't want to do that, blow it up, bring your phone near your computer, and type it into your computer. And then press enter. It'll take you to that site. Once you're on the site, you can save it, bookmark it, do whatever you like. Make a file for yourself, a folder, put it in there, put the whatever you have, copy paste it, put it in there, keep it. And you'll never lose it. Here, you will never have an excuse why you can't find a source, because the source is there throughout the whole entire program. And that's the reason why it's there. It's there so that instead of one day, what happens to Hatun happens to Dr. Mossavat. Instead of Dr. Mossavat, we will have thousands and hundreds of thousands of Dr. Mossavats after Dr. Mossavat is no longer here. Your kids will also become Dr. Mossavats. And your kids' kids can become Dr. Mossavats, because everybody will have these links. And everybody then can do what I do, and we can destroy and demolish and crush this fake religion that commits terrorism around the world at innocent people who are trying to do nothing but guide people to God. So what does this verse say? You surely cannot guide whoever you like, O Prophet, but it is Allah who guides whoever He wills, and He knows best who are fit to be guided. In other words, Prophet was crying. Which Prophet? Muhammad. Why was he crying? He was crying because his family members are dead and they're going to hell. And he doesn't like that. You know, the whole entire time they tell you, and you in the West, you've believed it because you've heard the lie so much that it's become reality for you. A lie has turned into reality. Not your own fault, by the way. Not your own fault. It's the fault of those clergymen you have who call themselves pastors, who call themselves reverends, who call themselves fathers and bishops and all these fancy names they give themselves. And they think they're administering to you. They sit in churches and think they know much. But in reality, they didn't even open the book, the Bible. They didn't open it. They've never studied history. They don't know a thing about history. You talk to them about history, over their head. But they think they know. They think they know, and they want to teach you. As long as you come and give them tithing. That's what's important. The money. You give them money. Give them money. Are you giving them are you coming to the church every week? Come to the church every week. Give them the tithing. Give them your tithing. They want 10% of your wealth. Come on, give it. That's the only thing that's important. You have to come to church so they can collect the tithing. But they don't know anything. And they heard this thing on the news. And so they think, oh, now I can pretend to be smart. And they tell you Muslims are of an Abrahamic religion, and the Muslims are descendants of Abraham, and they lie to you. Flat out lie. No one Muslim, not even one, not even their prophet Muhammad was from Abraham. None of them. It's all a lie. As a matter of fact, only 19% of all Muslims are Arabs. And even that 19% that is supposedly Arab, only a small amount of them are not mixed with Berber, Palestinians, which is Phoenician, which is from Greece, mixed with Egyptians, who were not really Arabs to begin with, mixed with Iranians, mixed with Assyrians, mixed with Babylonians, mixed with, yes, even the Jew. They didn't tell you all that. They don't tell you that in Islam, they told a lie to the Muslims, and that lie reached your ears, that Muslims are Abrahamic, that Muhammad came from the line of Ishmael. But in reality, he didn't come from Ishmael. This is the ayat that proves it. This is the verse that proves it. This verse is talking about him crying for his family members who are going to hell. But in Islam, they teach you they were following the one true God, the oneness of God. They don't tell you Muhammad's father's name was Abdullah, which means the slave of Allah. And yet Allah is saying Abdullah, his own slave, is gone to hell. And his brothers are all going to hell. Abu Talib's going to hell. They're all going to hell. And Muhammad's raised by these people and he's crying, why? And here Allah is telling him, stop that. You have no power. You can't intercede. See, the Shias, they love intercession. Intercession for Shia Muslims is half the religion. Half the religion is intercession. Go visit the grave of this Imam and go visit the grave of that Imam and go visit the grave of the Prophet and go visit the grave of that Imam and go to this Imam and ask them, intercede for us. They can't even intercede for their own family members. Because Allah says, He guides whoever He wills. And He knows best who is fit to be guided. It's like as if you had 10 cars, ladies and gentlemen. Imagine this. You have a big garage in your house, 10 parking spots, and you have 10 cars, one in each parking spot. 9 of them don't work. One works. Those 9, they have problems. You need to take it to a mechanic to fix the problem so that the car can run. But that one car that runs is perfect. There's nothing wrong with it. And here, what you're doing is you're taking that one good car every day to the mechanic shop. And you're leaving those 9 bad cars that need a mechanic at home. And he knows best who are fit to be guided. And you know best that one car that's good needs to be guided. Chapter 16, verse 93. Let's see what he says now. This is Allah, by the way, the God of Islam. You know, the one you never heard of in Christianity. Had we willed, he's always a we. You know, he's one God. Supposedly in Islam, he's one God. But this one God always talks like as if there is many of them. Had Allah willed, we or he could have easily made. By the way, this is Allah talking in the third party about himself. Because Muhammad forgot that Allah is talking and not him. It would have made sense if Muhammad was talking about God, supposedly this Allah. But here, this is Allah talking about Allah. Okay, so he's already 2. Because he's Allah and then there's another Allah. And Allah is talking about Allah. Okay? Had Allah willed, he could have easily made you one community of believers. One community. No one will be black. No one will be white. No one will be brown. No one will be yellow. No one will be any other color. No one will be fat. No one will be tall. No one will be male. No one will be female. We'll just make everything one. We'll just have one language. We'll just be one being. We'll just be one. And we'll all be believers. If he willed, he could have done it. But there's a but. He leaves you to stray, whoever he wills to guide, for he wills. Ooh. You see why he didn't do that, ladies and gentlemen? He simply didn't do that because Allah wants to guide you to falsehood. And you will certainly be questioned about what you used to do. Let me explain to you how this works. I'm going to give you the best scenario. Because, you know, I can give you the best scenario. Who else can give you best scenarios? Allah certainly can't give you best scenarios. You got to come to this university for the best scenarios. Okay? Let's say you have 300 sheep. And you're the sheep herder for these 300 sheep. You have a very nice tavern that you set up for them that they can go into. You know, at night, you keep them in this really nice place, you know, and then you have some dogs that will watch them over at night. But in the daytime, instead of taking them for feed up the mountain, you decided to take majority of these 300 sheep and you decided to guide them towards the den of a bunch of wolves. And then you decided you're going to leave these sheep's majority of the 300. So let's say like 200 of them with the wolves. And you decided to run away and go back home. Finally, these sheep, some of them got killed. Some of them got hurt. You decided, you know, they can run back home and they found their way back home. They want to go in the shed in the tavern and wherever else you have for them. But once they got there, You took out the whip and you started whipping them for the crime that they went to the wolves. And why they went to the wolves? And now you're going to question them. Huh, Mr. Sheep, why you went to the wolf? Don't you know the wolf is your enemy? Someone should ask you, why did you take them to the wolf? I mean, it was you. Here, same question. Allah is going to question you about what you did. But it wasn't you. It was Allah that forced you to go stray. So whatever you did because Allah forced you. He guided you that way. He made sure you don't stay on the right path and you stay on the wrong path. And now he's going to question you. Why you did the bad things on the wrong path? Huh? What kind of God is that? An Islamic God. That's why they become terrorists. Terrorist is good. If you're not doing terrorism work, then you're bad. As you know, if you're living as a Christian and you love your neighbor, you're bad. Quran says so. Quran says you're the worst of creatures. The Christians. Chapter 35, verse 8. Let's see what happens here. And those whose evil doing is made so appealing to them. Who made it appealing to them? That they deem it good. They think they're doing a good thing. I mean, somebody made bad appealing to them to the point they think they're doing good. Okay? Like those who are rightly guided. You know, rightly guided people, they know they're doing good because they've been guided right. Okay. It is certainly Allah who leaves to stray whoever he wills. Ha ha, we found out. The culprit who made these people do evil deeds and made it feel good to them is Allah. Allah is doing Satan's work. Allah is Satan. Who's supposed to guide you to do bad? I mean, when you were a kid, I'm sure you saw some cartoon where there was two people sitting here. You know, there was a devil and an angel. And then the devil was telling the guy to go and do something real bad. And that angel was like, don't do that. I mean, that's not a good thing. And then eventually the guy would get bamboozled by the schemes of the devil. And he would tell that little angel, get away from me. And then he would go and do whatever bad devil told him. Remember those? That's exactly what Allah is doing. Allah is that devil sitting over here, telling him, go do this thing. It's going to be good. It's going to be good, but you know it's going to be bad. That's Allah, the devil. He's sitting right there. He's saying it himself. These are his words. According to Islam, Allah wrote this. These are the words of Allah. You don't believe me? Look, Allah is there. In Arabic, they have him right here. You see? There is Allah. He's in pink. There is Allah. He's in pink. You know, Allah is there. It's Allah. The whole thing is Allah. And then what happens? And then what happens? He leaves to stray whoever he wills and guides whoever he wills. So do not grieve yourself to death over them. Oh, Prophet. Who's the Prophet? Prophet of Islam. Surely Allah is knowing of what they do. What is this verse about? Family of the Prophet. His uncle Abu Talib died. He called it the year of grief. Oh, it's the year of grief. Abu Talib died, father of Ali. Oh, Oh, it's a year of grief. He wants to cry and he's in his own sorrows. Yeah, Allah, his God, is telling him, clean up all this, man. Clean it up. Get up, get up. What you doing here, man? You can't intercede for them. I made sure that they do bad so that they can go to hell, and I made it look good. I made them pagan. Don't let the Shia Muslims tell you the family of the Prophet, oh, they're perfect. They're all going to heaven. No, they're not going to heaven. The Quran says they're going to hell. If you're a Shia Muslim who's watching this in English, they lie to you. Your Imams, your Ayatollahs, your Ayatollah al-Uzamas, your Hujjatul Islams, your Allamas, your everything, they all lied. They're all liars. They don't know their religion. They don't know their Quran. The Quran you have in your house right now, which was based on the recitation of Hafs and Asim. It's not the Uthman Quran. Go to page 8a before your Quran starts, where it's talking about according to, you will see it says, according to the recitation of Hafs and Asim. And then he'll say, based on, according to the recitation, and that is only because Hafs and Asim didn't have an actual book, and the guys before them also didn't have an actual book, and they were just basing it off what people think those guys recited, which means this was only something they assumed is real to begin with. And the same Quran you have in your house, Mr. Shia or Miss Shia, the Sunni have the same ones in the Middle East. But in Lebanon, in Libya, they have the Qanuni Quran, which is different from yours. And in Morocco and Tunisia and Algeria, they got the Warsh. And in Nigeria, they got the Warsh. Different Qurans. The Arabic is different. The ayats have different words in Arabic. You have many different types of Qurans. You don't have one Quran. And you don't have your real Quran. And your Hassan Vash and all this crap only recently got put together. Your Asam Quran, your Hafs Quran was put together by Al-Azhar University in 1924. Not even 100 years old. But don't worry, don't worry. By next week, it'll turn about 100 years old. You can say you've had your Quran, your physical book, the one you have in your house right now. You can say it'll turn 100 years old. Except you got a problem. You got a revised edition of it. And the revised edition was put together in 1985. Oh boy, you got problems, mister. Your book is very young. And don't go ahead and complain about the Bible, man. Bible hasn't changed. And your prophet put his hand on it and says, I agree with the one that created thee. For his testimony, he accepted the Bible the way it is, and it's been the same ever since. He accepted the Bible 600 years after Jesus. And you guys like to say 300 years after Jesus, the Christians, they sat around and they came up with a book. Well, the book that you say they came up with 300 years, we'll go with your story, okay? Not the Christian method. We'll go with yours. You say they came up with the book 300 years after Jesus? Well, your prophet, 300 years after that, decided to accept everything that they came up with 300 years prior to him and said, I agree with this book and everything that's in the. So you Muslims, you got screwed one more time by your prophet. Because now, if you say the Bible is wrong, that means your prophet was wrong. Can you dare to say that? So here, what happened? The family of the prophet, they were pagan worshippers. The prophet's own father, who died 4 years before he came out. I mean, man, that's some work. Imagine you do dingy dingy with your wife and you die, okay? And 4 years later, your wife gives birth to your son. I mean, look at that. That sperm was so strong. It got lost. Of course. The only reason why it took 4 years, it got lost. I mean, it went into the bloodstream. I'm going to tell you the story. No one will tell you. It got into the bloodstream. And Allah has said that a living sperm cell turns into a dead blood clot. So it makes sense. It went into the bloodstream. I mean, where else are you going to find the blood clot? And then this blood clot, eventually, you know, the mother, she was like, I feel a clot inside my arm. So she kept hitting it. And then it kind of popped open and went into the other side. And then she felt it here and hit it. And then it popped out and it went back down. And instead of going upwards to the brain, because it thought that it comes from there, it went back downwards and it went into one of the legs. And then it got stuck there. And she had to keep hitting it from every area. And eventually, you know, she had to direct it to go to the uterus. And then, you know, it went around and around and around. And eventually, 4 years later, because I don't want to bore you to death, 4 years later, it finally found the right place. And it grew and it turned into a boy. And when she gave birth, according to Islamic sources, a light came out of her, you know where. I mean, you know where women give birth from. They give birth from their mouth. It came out so powerful. And this light blew all the windows of all the governor homes, which were little kingdoms under the kingdom of a bigger kingdom of Persia and Byzantine. He broke all their windows all the way throughout Iran and the Byzantine. Why you say that no historian wrote it? They were all blind. They never saw it. And then this child popped out. It already had little whiskers and it had teeth. And when it fell, it went into, you know, sujud, like this, where he could put his head and onto the ground with his hands. And he said, I thank Allah who gave me this life. And then he sat and looked at his mother. And his mother looked at him. And he looked at his mother. And his mother looked at him. And he looked at his mother. And eventually he talked to his mother. What? What you want? I mean, she was shocked. Who else gave a birth like that? You know anyone? But in any case, back to this verse. They all died. They all died of paganism. And here Allah is explaining to this Muhammad, hey man, it was me. I made sure your parents, your family members, they all were pagan. I mean, they were worshiping my name because I'm a pagan god. But I made them pagan. And now I'm sending them to hell where they belong. So get up, stop crying. Don't kill yourself with this sorrow. Waraqa died. Oh, Waraqa. Muhammad couldn't get any more revelations because Waraqa died. Waraqa was who? Waraqa was his own father and supposedly his uncle at the same time. And it was the uncle of Khadija, his first wife. Waraqa was trying to write a Bible of his own, which later on turned into the Quran. The first half of it was the writing of Waraqah, who was telling Muhammad what to write. And it was very nice and peaceful. And then the second portion, the abrogated version, where it abrogated everything Waraqah said, is what Muhammad came up with himself, which is very harsh. And it's all about killing. Kill everybody who's a non-Muslim. Kill them all. Collect what belongs to them. They're all the worst of creatures. They're all filthy and uncleanable. All these verses are from the Quran. Oh, Waraqah died. Muhammad wanted to throw himself from the cave, and Jibreel would have to keep coming every day. Muhammad would go up the cave to throw himself down. Jibreel would have to wait until Muhammad's about to fall down, and then he would tell him, no, don't do this. You're still the prophet. Oh, go back down. Allah still loves you. And he would go down, and the next day, same thing again. Mental disorder. He wants to come and kill himself, and would have to climb all the way to the top of the mountain. By the way, nobody saw this Jibreel at the top of the mountain. This Muhammad goes up there and comes back down, and then he tells the people, yeah, I was about to kill myself, and this Jibreel showed up. And by the way, Jibreel takes him 1,000 days of our time on earth to go to heaven, and then it'll take him another 1,000 days to come back. Okay? And Muhammad, every day he went up there. So, I mean, he's the first time this happens, we'll say fine. I mean, he was in the traveling, so they met at the right time. But the second day, now Jibreel, this angel of God, who's bringing the messages and everything, is at a minus 999 days. Because his one day versus one of those 1,000 days leaves you 999. Just to come back. And then you got another 1,000 because he left. So he's now at a minus 1,999 days to catch up to Muhammad's one day. How did he do it? And this guy did this every day. Every day. Back and back. A lunatic. But no Muslim knows this. You tell a Muslim that, what? They don't know this because no one teaches them. They don't teach them that. If they taught him that, all the Muslims would leave tomorrow. They say, what the heck is this? Doesn't make any sense. And Muslims, you know, your mullanas, your clergymen, your imams, they love to tell you about the miracles of numbers. This is another miracle of number for you. Nobody knows how this got solved. I mean, Jibreel can only fly so fast. He can't fly faster than himself. It's like me telling you to run faster than you can run. You can't. You can only run as fast as you possibly can run. Let's go to the next. Chapter 74, verse 31. We have appointed. We have appointed. Who's we? Allah. The supposed one God. We have appointed. Ooh, only stern angels. Hey man, if one of his hairs, one of these angels, if their hair is not in place, don't tell him. He'll cut your head off. And he's stern. He's tough, man. As wardens of the fire. Huh? So it's like the prison guard of hell. And we made their number only as a test for the disbelievers. Hold on, time out. Ladies, I got a question. Here, Allah is talking about the guards of hell. Okay? So I want you to imagine with me. Here is a place. It's a hell. And Allah is describing the hell he created. And he wants to tell you how many guards he has in place. But instead of giving you a number of how many there are, like 35, 50, 100, 1 million, he says there's a number of guards. And the number is a test. Which now brings us to question number 2. Since no one could tell us how many guards there were. The second question is, according to Islam, you're born into this earth. So you can go through a test. And those who pass the test go to heaven, which is a brothel in Islam. And those who fail the test go to hell so they can be burned from the inside and the outside with hot water and a boiling. So now you're in hell. You failed your test. And in hell, while you're being burned, Allah is going to test you with the number of angels he placed as his guards for hell. What for? Is the question. You go to hell, that's the final destination. You know, there's 2 final destinations, heaven and hell. So now you failed and you winded up in the final destination of hell. Now you're going to get tested in hell to go where exactly? Is Allah creating hell number 2? In hell number 1, we have 7 levels. And in hell number 2, we're going to have 8 levels. And if you fail in hell number 1, you go to hell number 2. Well, what is this? Hell number 2 is going to be there somewhere? What's the test for? But it gets worse. Let's see what happens. It's so that the people of the book, that's the Christian and the Jew only, will be certain. Ooh, we're going to be certain. Okay, what are we certain of? And the believers, oh, the ones in heaven, they're going to be involved too now. Will increase in faith. Okay, they're going to increase in faith. Okay, let's see. And neither, listen, the people of the book, nor the believers will have any doubts. And so, we're adding. We got the people of the book, the Jews and the Christians. We got the believers who are supposedly the Muslims. And now we're adding, okay? Let's see who else we can add. The hypocrites, the ones that pretend to be, people of Muslim, and they're not. Of course, they're not people of the book because, they're hypocrites. They're a whole different section, right? So they were pretending to be, but when they're not. So they're disbelievers. With sickness in their hearts. Those are the hypocrites. They have the sickness in their hearts. Their hearts. And then there is the disbelievers. I mean, these disbelievers and the hypocrite disbelievers are 2 different types of disbelievers. They both disbelieve. So at the end of the day, disbelieve and disbelieve is disbelief. Literally says disbelieve, meaning you do not believe. Now, it doesn't matter if you're a hypocrite, you didn't believe. And if you're a disbeliever, you didn't believe. So it's the same thing. Why are they in 2 different categories? So now we have 4. Remember, we got the Ahlul Kitab, the people of the book, Christians and the Jews. We got the believers, the Muslims. We got the hypocrites, and we got the disbelievers. We got 4 groups, okay? Now watch what happens. And the disbelievers will argue. Okay, they're going to argue. Everyone's going to argue. What are they arguing about? What does Allah mean by such a number? That means everybody forgot about everything they're supposed to do. I mean, when you go to heaven, Allah is going to bring for you thousands of little boys that you are going to have anal intercourse with. Boys. We didn't say men. Boys. pedophilia. And they will not bleed from their anals. And then he's going to bring you thousands of little girls. And then he's going to bring you women from hell. And then he's going to bring you women that you are going to marry over there. And then he's going to bring you the Hurriyan, who are supposedly an hybrid breed between a human and an angel. And then on top of that, you will go on Fridays to the market where with money, you need gold and silver, to buy pictures of men and the women that you can jump into and have intercourse with. And these are thousands and thousands of that Allah's going to. I mean, if you call that heaven, man. And by the way, your penis is endless, 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 like infinity. It just slow. I mean, it's so long. Everyone's going to be in sword fights over there because it's endless, man. It's going to go into other people's homes. It's going to go through everybody. Everyone's, just, you get the idea. But everyone's now focused on counting the numbers of guards that are guarding over hell. And then what happens? When they argue, let's see what happens. What does Allah mean by this number? In this way, Allah leaves whoever He wills to stray and guides whoever He wills. And none knows the forces of your Lord except He. Ooh, and this is a description of hell, only a reminder to humanity. Ooh. I mean, we got to tell this to somebody who's maybe on meth. Huh? Bring someone who's on meth, and maybe this might make sense. I mean, the guy in hell, the disbelievers, the people of the book, the disbelieving hypocrites, they're all going to be counting. The one group's going to say, I counted 35. The other one's going to say, no, it was 45. The other one's going to say it was 500. And then the people in heaven, they're also, while they were busy doing intercourse, they're also counting, what? And then at the end, they're going to say, man, we counted 5,000. And then at the end, they're going to be like, I wonder what that meant. Why was there 5,000? The other one's going to be thinking 35 people. I mean, I wonder what these 35 people are doing. Why would it be 35 and not 36? I think it's 35 because we did 35 sins. And then Allah's going to say, aha, you're wrong. You didn't do 35 sins. You did 36. Now, ladies and gentlemen, this is a reminder. This is a reminder that you did what you did because Allah forced you to, and now you will get punished because you did it. And when you go to hell, you're going to get punished again because you didn't know the meaning of the number of guards, and therefore you're going to be punished again for not knowing what Allah thought of in His head with that number. And because you can't read Allah's mind, you are going to get punished because you couldn't read Allah's mind. Because only Allah knows what Allah knows and His force, and you don't know His force because only Allah knows His force. And since you didn't know, it's time you get punished again because you didn't know. It's your fault. You don't know. It's like if I get 10 dogs and I give my dogs names, and then I come to you and I say, what are my dogs' names? And you don't know. And I start beating you up because you didn't know what I named my dogs. I mean, it would be the other way around. If I wanted to prove to you that I'm some kind of a god, I would tell you, you should name my dogs, and then I'll tell you what you named my dogs since you didn't tell me what you named my dogs. That would make sense. But here, Allah wants you to tell him why he has 35 dogs in charge of guarding his hell. But since you don't know why, it's time you get punished because you don't know why. And you should have known why. And nobody told you why. So unless you're a mind reader, you will never know why. And you're not a mind reader. So that's why you don't know why. Aren't you happy with yourself for not knowing why? Hmm? See? Problems. But let's go ahead and, because it's, I think, over an hour, let's go ahead and share with you some good things. Because if we don't share with you some good stuff, then what are we doing? It's Christmas time. It's a good time. It's time for sharing. It's time for giving valuable gifts. So I am going to give you guys a valuable gift. What you guys will be seeing soon on your page is the prayer that Jesus taught us in his true native language of Aramaic, a very old language. And I'm going to play it for you so that you can also hear it. It has subtitles in English and Arabic, and it also shows that prayer written in many other languages. And I hope that you can accept this gift from me, and then we will conclude at the end of it. So enjoy, ladies and gentlemen.
بی شام تون دیدار من کودا حیلان شبهتا عالم عالمین آمین.
For those who are interested, this is from Father Petros, and the site that you can go to find that. Let me see if I can close this one down. For those who are interested, this site that shows that is called, let me see if it can come back up. It's called Kalama Allah is the name of the channel. It's one of the channels that's related to Father Petros, and they have this. Anybody can go ahead and find it in YouTube if they want to have it. Ladies and gentlemen, don't forget, click on the subscribe button, use your phone, just click on it. Share this link with us, share our programs, like our programs, click on our programs after the program's done, write a comment or two. And those of you that subscribe, you are doing an amazing job. You are the most important part of this channel. More important than me is you guys. And before we leave with you, the English community, I want to make a request for you to join me in this prayer whenever you want at your home. Make a special prayer for Hatun so that she can be found. If you can, write to your British embassy of your country. If you're in England, write to your parliament, to your MPs, write to the police of England or London, I should say, and demand that they look for Hatun and that they find Hatun, dead or alive. This young lady needs to be found and she needs to be answered to. Her team that works with her is the closest people to her, and they have not heard of her. They don't know where she is. She's not in proper communications. It seems like someone else has taken control of her email account and is sending emails that don't look like her emails. So pray in your churches, pray at home, pray as a group, pray by yourself. Do whatever you like to do. Ask God to help us out in Jesus' name to find this girl and write, do what you can. Spread the news so others can also take part so we can find her, dead or alive. With that being said, I leave everybody in the hands of Jesus. Until next week, may you be safe. May you have a wonderful Merry Christmas. And may you have liked the little gift that I gave you this week. Till next week,